You're listening to a Rev FM production podcast. Welcome to Pastors Live, the show that discusses things of the Bible and current events for people who love to laugh. And now, the hosts who answer questions with more questions. It's Pastors Dave, Ty, Shane, and the other guy.
Hey everybody, it's Pastors Live. It is Thursday, August 29th, and it's almost the end of. It's hard to believe it's almost the end of August, but school has started for most people now. Marching band is in the air. It's fall.
I was going to say fall. It smells like fall out there in the morning.
Yeah, it does.
Starting to get brisk.
Yeah, it's starting to get. I'm back. We're back to hoodies again, so I'm happy for that. We've got some great Bible readings today in 1 Corinthians 9, Proverbs 24, Psalm 57, and of course we're in 1 Samuel 18 today. We do want to encourage you guys to go to our website at watersprings.net. We have several different things going on around the church, but we have the ladies' night out is starting. We have men's breakfast that is getting rolling. But we also have the Is Genesis History movie night that's coming up.
Yeah, it is tomorrow night.
Yeah, Operation Christmas Child is kicking off. So we've got there's a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah.
But we got some great people in the studio today. We've got Pastor Shane is here today.
Hello.
Pastor Dave is here today.
Hey guys.
I am Pastor Ty. I am here today, and of course we have no engineer. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
We're on autopilot right now. That's all we got. But Dave has invited some other wonderful people in here to talk about Trail Life. So Dave, I'm going to let you introduce them, and then we can have a little conversation about Trail Life.
Well, we were talking about it last Sunday, Pastor Ty, at the small group leadership potluck. That was a great turnout, by the way.
It was good.
We had about 80 people.
Yeah, it was a good turnout.
And to have that many folks really wanting to be involved in small groups. And small groups around Water Springs take on several different shapes. One of those groups that we get to be linked with is Trail Life, and the other one is American Heritage Girls. They're sort of they're linked. The Trail Life for the boys, American Heritage Girls for the girls, and one of our adult leaders is my very good friend Ben Rudder. Hello, Ben.
Good morning.
And I really appreciate you coming. We had a great conversation after that meeting on Sunday. And then the other afternoon, Ben and I talked and prayed together for about 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And I thought, man, why don't you come in and help us out with a program? And then you brought a very special guest with you.
I did. So, Zach, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Zach.
That's my son. He's about 10 years old. And
Nice.
Good job, Zach.
And he happens to have the same last name as you.
he does.
Is that a coincidence?
No, it's not. No, he's my son.
It's designed. So, Zach, you're not an American.
He said more than Steve already. So,
I know, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you got a job if you want one.
Yeah.
We don't get paid at all. So, you're not in American Heritage Girls.
No.
No. You are in?
Trail Life.
Awesome. And do you know your troop number?
1314.
There you go. ID 1314. Yeah. So, Trail Life Troop ID 1314 is under the umbrella, so to speak, of Water Springs Church. And Ben, you were telling me the other day why it's called 1314.
Yeah, so it's from 1 Corinthians 16, 13 through 14. So it's be on guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong, do everything in love. And that's really what we're trying to pour into these young men and then the young women. Our motto is to walk worthy from the verse in Colossians. And the American Heritage Girls motto is to walk in integrity.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, we're really trying to.
So, Pastor Ty, something I learned about Ben the other day, and I'm meeting so many of these guys around our fellowship now. You earned your Eagle Scout.
Yeah, that's correct.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Our buddy Kelly is
Kelly.
also an Eagle Scout, and there's like 3 or 4 other guys in our fellowship.
Yeah.
Now, were you in the Scouts, Pastor Ty?
I was.
See, I thought you had told me, but your boys, yes or no?
No.
No, but you were in the Scouts, Shane?
Yep.
Negative Ghost Rider.
No.
I was in the skate parks.
Thank you, Skywalker.
Yes.
You were in what?
The skate parks.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So when I was a kid, my dad wouldn't let us do Scouts because they typically did all of their scouting stuff over the weekend. And Ty, you were not raised in a typical Christian home.
I wasn't raised in a Christian home.
I was trying to be kind because I know some of your family listens to this program.
No,
I wasn't
I'll
trying
own
to be
it.
a jerk.
I'll own it. I'll own that. That's all right.
But so you guys, you camped on the weekends? Often. I mean, not always.
Well,
but
not always. I mean, I was usually out, doing something stupid on the weekends, when I was older. But when I was younger, I was involved in the
Right.
I was involved in the Cub Scouts and the Webelos, and then of course you move your way up to Scouts and
right.
Yeah, my parents kept me out of trouble by having me go to Boy Scouts.
I love it. I love it.
Again, I didn't grow up in a Christian home, so it was a much different experience than what we're trying to do with these boys.
Yeah, very, very different.
I learned a lot of bad things from Boy Scouts, and I'm hoping that I can teach a lot of good things to these boys.
Yeah. No, we're really
Are
excited.
you a
about
pyro?
it.
No, there's some requirements there. We teach them. We make sure they've got the little card. Make sure they know what they're doing before they start fires.
Right.
I think that's Zach's favorite thing he's earned.
I can start a fire.
You got your fire making badge, Zach?
I earned it, but I have not received it yet.
Right, but you did earn it. That's awesome, man. So Ben, why? So you're an Eagle Scout. We got a few of them in our fellowship, which I think is really cool.
Right.
Pardon me. Why trail life? What's? I know you have a real heart for trail life. How come? Tell us a little bit about it and why you have such a heart for it.
Yeah, so when I had Zach and he was growing up, I just figured, hey, Boy Scouts is not an issue in our culture today. And when I heard about trail life and I heard about the ability to seek after the Lord and our values, our service, stewardship, integrity, purity, those were things that I said, hey man, this is outdoor adventure is where kids get challenged,
right,
where they grow and have those male mentors, to have those brotherhoods. I think I was looking at the passages today about David and Goliath. He was out in the wilderness, and that's where he got the confidence to fight Goliath. He said, I can take that lion, I can take that bear. And when these kids have these challenges, they've overcome them, they grow, it gives them that grit, that faith in God. It's really critical to growing kids up.
I like how he said grit and faith.
Right.
That's awesome. That's an awesome definition.
That's grit and faith. I
really like that.
But that's good because we need that. And, and I think that sometimes you and I were talking before the mics went live about how you got your calling into children's ministry. Yeah. And by the way, our Ben is, he's a children's ministry guy.
Buddy.
It's so awesome to see.
I'll claim it.
But it was great because you and I have had great conversations about children's ministry and things like that. And you were saying how you were serving other people. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about on Sunday, where you have these leaders that are ministering, and it's not just necessarily praying. It's praying. It's doing the holy things of God, but it's also ministering to the needs of others and taking care of their needs. And as they're doing that, God speaks to them. He said, set aside Barnabas and Saul for the work which I've called them. The Holy Spirit speaks. And you were saying that God kind of spoke to you in that.
Yeah, I was on a mission trip to Mexico with my church, and I was under the impression, hey, we're all going to go down, we're going to build something. And we ended up partnering with the Azusa Pacific University.
Yeah.
And it was very youth focused.
Right.
And so there was a speaker, they would talk to the youth, and they said, hey, turn around and talk to your youth leader. And all these kids turn around and talk to him. They're waiting for me to lead them. And I was like, wow, this is good. This feels good. This is what God is calling me to. And he really confirmed that in me. I wasn't expecting it, but I got involved with youth group when I came back and doing children's ministry. And I realized, wow, this is what the Lord has been preparing me for.
That's so awesome, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, even I love the idea that you're bringing up, Ben, about being outdoors. Throughout the scriptures, you realize very quickly, if you're any kind of a thinker at all, that these people are fit. You can't be unfit and go up on a mountain for 40 days, right? First, you have to be able to climb the mountain. And then you have to be able to spend 40 days out there on the mountaintop, right? So Moses is not some
He went up and down a couple times.
Right. I mean, this is a guy who's fit.
With some tablets.
You can't walk around the city of Jericho 13 times because you're out of shape. I mean, there's an idea of, in a real practical sense, of fitness being connected to ministry. And we know it. I mean, we may not be the most fit. I may not be the most fit guy in the room, but I also know that at any given moment, I may be up for 24 or 36 hours. Somebody may have a crisis. Pastor Ty may be called away, and you're awake for 24, 36 hours at a time, and you can't be a slothful person and be ready to do that. There's a necessity of being fit. But I love what you're talking about with the boys and girls that you guys get to work with. You and Laura, Jeremy has Jessica, and or the girls have you. I don't know, but anyway, I love what you guys are doing with these kids. And so, talk to us a little bit about what the future looks like, not only for Trail Life in general, but for Troop 1314. Because I know you were saying that you guys are having some growing pains and some other pains. What are the needs right now in our area for Troop 1314?
Yeah, so we started Troop 1314 about a year ago, and we've had a great year. We've done a lot of great activities and lessons and worked with the kids. And we've had recently some people step away, move away, health issues. And so, we would love anybody that has a heart for pouring into kids, for serving, for being there to be a role model. You don't have to be a dad. You can be a mom. You can be a grandma, grandpa, just a guy that has time, that wants to take these kids into the outdoors, challenge them, be a mentor, support them, and grow them. I think it's a great opportunity.
Now, American Heritage Girls took a little bit of a hiatus.
They did,
summer off. But when do they start back up?
So we have our first meetings back on Mondays, and we're taking Labor Day off. And so we'll be back Mondays at 6 p.m. in the gym here at Water Springs School. Nice. And we're going to be having parent meetings, those first two meetings. So if you want to bring your kids, we have the older boys lead them in games, sort of give them some leadership opportunities. We take them into the classroom, learn some things, do some skills, and you can either join with them or go into the parents' meeting and get some more information, get your questions answered.
And what are the ages for kids getting involved?
Yeah, so it's anywhere from 5 to 17.
Nice.
So we run the gambit there. And we have a lot of listeners from outside the area, and there's a lot of other troops all over the United States.
Yeah.
And so if you go to traillife.org, I believe it is, or traillifeusa.org, you can take a look and see if there's a troop in your area.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you have different levels, like in our Awana program, you have cubbies and so on and so forth. What are the
names?
The names in Trail Life.
So I really like this. Do you want to say it, Zach? What are the names?
Yeah. The names are, there are two main groups, Woodlands and Navs and Adventurers. For Woodlands is Foxes, which is 5 through 6 year olds. And then Hawks, which is 6 through 7 year olds. And Mountain Lions, which is
8 and 9 year olds.
8 and 9.
Yeah, we got it generally.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's fun because
cool, dude. I like that.
We talk about how kids they start out with lots of energy. They're fox. They're running all around, and then they're down in the woodlands. They're down in the valley, and they're learning how things go. And then they graduate to hawks. So they're up a little higher. They get a little bit more view, a little bit more responsibility. Mountain lions. They're able to get up to the peaks a bit. Out of the tree line, and then they go into the older groups, which is more high school, middle school, high school age, which is navigators. They're learning how to navigate life. And adventurers, that's where we really they have this high energy, high adventure. Where they get to really build, what do you want to do? We can do this badge where you do a cycling or canoeing or hiking. You can backpack, you can camp, and let's get you out there, do these experiences that'll challenge them. And so we're really building them up, giving them the skills throughout the program to be able to do that.
That's cool. So there's a natural progression to all of that. It's not just some willy-nilly.
Yeah, we don't want to just take them out into the wilderness. We're going to teach them map skills.
Yeah.
But we're also going to talk about, hey, there's a narrow way and there's a wide way. Trail life has a spiritual meaning to it.
Right.
We are all needing the Word of God to be our guide, a lamp to our feet. We're needing to listen to the Holy Spirit, like we're needing to listen to wisdom and instruction from others and from God. So.
But I love what you're saying too. You were talking about the reading from yesterday in 1 Samuel 17, and Saul wants David to put on his armor, right, and carry his sword, and David tries it on. He's like, "Oh, King, listen,
I haven't tested it.
Thank you, but I haven't walked around in this stuff. I haven't tested it, but I'm pretty doggone good with a sling and a stone." And I love that, Pastor Ty, because that really fits in with the flow of the heart of Water Springs, to see people discipled and to grow.
To grow. And there are different seasons of life, right? And to see young people, and I love that concept of getting up and going and learning how to navigate life and learning how to take ventures of faith, right? It's like, and because that's really what life is. Life is a series of steps of faith for the believer, and so everything we do it's one step at a time. We talk a lot about how do you climb a mountain. One step at a time. Right. You don't climb the mountain, and the problem is sometimes in your mind, you short circuit yourself, because instead of just taking the one step that's in front of you, you are considering all the things along the journey, right? But you have to be prepared for those things. You have to know all the what ifs. That's what your backpack's for, right? You got to have your tools, but your venture of faith is just one step at a time. I'm going to be obedient to the next step. I'm going to be obedient to the next step. But
I can't be obedient to that next step until I've taken step one.
Yeah, I can't. Step one's the first step. Step two's the second step. And for me, if you really think about life, is always step one, because you're just taking the next step. You're just taking the next step. Yeah. It is a journey, but eventually at the end of that, and to have young people who know how to live outside, to be able to function and be safe and know how God's creation is designed. I mean, that's incredibly important.
I think
you got to be a fox before you can be a hawk, right?
Yeah,
Zach.
And when youth, when they become adults, they experience real world challenges. And you have to have real world experience.
Right.
And real world experience where you've gotten wisdom from adults and you're praying through it and you're like, this is hard, but I did it, I can do it. And so they instead of, a lot of our world is virtual these days. Yeah. And you're seeing social media and video games and things like that, and they're like, oh, I can do this, I got to this level, but it's hard to translate that to real world. Then you get stuck and you're like,
change this tire on the car or whatever, right?
What do I do?
You freeze.
I remember
exactly. I can't save, quit, and
I don't know about you guys. I wasn't allowed to drive a car until I could change the plugs.
Set the gap.
You set the gap. Take the rotate the tires. Change a tire. Change the oil. I wasn't allowed to drive a car until I could do those things. I learned to do those things when I was before I could drive. I could do those things. Yeah. I knew how to change a Suburban tire at 11.
Ty, but that's the thing, right? In our generation, those practical things were valued. You could not graduate from Bellflower High School, where I graduated in 78. Can you believe that? I'm an old man, Zach.
Wow, that is...
You knew I was old, but you didn't know I was that old.
That's really old.
I graduated in 78. You could not graduate Bellflower High School until you could balance a checkbook. I was going to say challenge a checkbook. I don't know what that means. Balance a checkbook, change a tire, and change the oil in your car. Sylvia, my wife, we both graduated the same year. She had to change a tire, show that she knew how to change the oil, change a plug, and balance a checkbook. You couldn't graduate from high school until you could do that. Isn't that crazy? Nowadays, it's, hey kids, be careful. Don't drink the battery acid. It's just like, what? Why? Everything's so dumbed down. And I love, Ben, that you guys are challenging young guys like Zach, fist bump, to go out there. And I love, like, when I go on the Trail Life website, which I do about once a week. I just love Trail Life. They talk about teaching boys to take risks, and we've got about 1 minute. Why is that important?
I think if you don't take risks, God, He wants us to step out in faith, right?
Yeah.
And if we're risk averse, are we being obedient to the Lord?
Hold on, you just used a big word. You know you're on Pastors Live, right?
I know what the word means.
Oh,
I do.
excuse me. But if we're risk averse, what was that?
Then are we be obedient to God? Because we can stay in our comfort zone, right? Or we can get out and we can take those steps of faith, see God show up, be encouraged, take the next step one.
Absolutely.
If somebody wants to get a hold of you to talk about Trail Life, what do they do?
You can maybe contact the church office and I can leave my information with them. And I'd love to talk to you. We also have a table in the lobby this Saturday night and Sunday where you can talk to Mr. Jeremy Ward, who's also one of our leaders.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And Jessica Ward about American Heritage Girls.
There you go.
All right, that's awesome. By the way, thanks for coming in. Now,
you
hey,
guys.
listen, you had your your oath that you practiced. You want to do your oath? Okay, go for it.
On my honor, I will do my best to serve God and my country, to respect authority, to be a good steward of creation, and to treat others as I want to be treated.
Wow.
Boom. Mic drop. What a great way to end the
I
program.
love that. Zach, thank you.
Thank you, man.
Proud
Appreciate
of
you
you, buddy.
very, very much. Hey, guys, you're loved, your family. And please, if you're interested in American Heritage Girls or Trail Life, contact the church office at 208-524-4747, or you can, at office@watersprings.net, send us an email, or you can, stop by. We'd love to talk to you. Listen, you're loved, your family. We got to go. We'll talk to you on Friday.
You've reached the end of another episode of Pastors Live, a Rev FM production podcast. Thank you for listening. Submit your questions and comments by email to pastorslive@therev.fm. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review from your favorite podcast listening platform. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon so you don't miss the next episode drop.